So there's been a lot of confusion around meta and how it works. I'm going to attempt to simplify the process, but I'm going to run down one of the fundamental issues people are having with meta. So when you open up your roster file and you try to inject into the memory and it gives you an error, first things you should check. I've added a check in place now, so it'll warn you. However, if you see in the drop down where it says all, so it'll be on somewhere around here. If it doesn't say exhibition, it means you've installed the roster file in the wrong order. So what you need to do is the order has to be you delete your save file always first. Then you run meta, you run the installation. Once the installation is done and meta's roster file is in your mods folder, you bake your mods folder, then run the game for the first time. Now, when the game loads, what's going to happen for the first time is the custom slots that we've added to the game will be permanently injected into your save file. So that means when meta tries to inject into the memory, it tries to find the addresses, it will now find them. If you don't do it in this order, the game, your save is basically just pointless because meta will not find them and it cannot be injected into the game again. It has to be the first time. Another issue people are having is they'll import the information, like the profile information, and then they go to exhibition and then they click play on the character and it'll crash. This is to do with character mapping. So for this tutorial, I'm going to install my Bryan Danielson mod. So if you locate your mods folder and then go to your characters folder, this is where your mods will be, your character mods. Now these folder names mean nothing. You could call them tits on ice cream. It doesn't matter. It's what's going on inside the folder that matters. So if I click through to my Bryan Danielson, you'll see a base model and a default attire. The engine will always look for base model first. So if you have an alternate attire, you can point to this folder and it will use the base model. So however, this name is also kind of irrelevant, but for just, end user purposes, it's just better to follow the 2K naming conventions. And if you downloaded my Bryan, you will see these two folders. And if you're a modder, you have to now include everything. So this includes the base model MTLS, the CTG, and if you're missing anything in here, they will need to be included. If you don't include them, the game will crash. So my Bryan Danielson's are here. So I'm going to go into meta. I don't believe anybody's created a profile for him yet. I've already started working on one. I've got it here. So you fill out the information as you would for your character. The names, the stats, everything that you'd like him to be. Now if we go to the character mapping tab, the character folder path is this root. So it's characters, then your character name. So it's these two. So for this, I'm going to show you how it works. So I'm going to take this name. We're going to say characters / the tool will fix it if you do the slashes differently now. Now I'm going to put that there. Now the default attire path is this / the default attire. very basic. Just put that there. The tool will generate everything for you. You don't need to worry. If you've got a render, it's the same principle. You point into the DDS file. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't like going through 100 folders just for a render. So what I've done is I use a custom folder. I use mods, UI, renders, and they're all in here. So what you need to do is, again, it's the same principle as before. UI, renders, take the name, put it there. And since 2K combined A and B now, we just do this. Now, some of you have also questioned and said, well, how do we do alternate attires for our slots? Very easy. You just go to character basic info. You set the attire here, how many you'd like. So for Brian, I only want one. And for every attire that you have from this drop down, you have to have all the information correctly put in here. Now, if you just want to retain the base model, like you just want to have the additional attire information, all you have to do is just delete that. And what Meta will do is it will use this one up here. But since I only want one, this is not required. The tool will still generate all of this information, but it won't be injected. So once you have all your character stats done, you have to remember to do the name. Where do you find these IDs? If you pull up the SDB editor, which is found in the Meta installation, and you open up your SDB file, these IDs will be found in the second column. So for Brian, I think Brian's names are still in the game. There they are. So there's quite a lot in here that we can use, which is very useful. So I'm going to take the first one, which is the full name, put it in there. Or actually, I might just start from the bottom because it's easy. Take this one, stick that there. And then we want a nickname, which is like a shortened abbreviation. There isn't one, so I'm just going to use the one above, and then I'll change it myself later on. Social media, just remove it. It's not needed. So the wrestler ID as well. People have been asking, how do you find them? So if we go back to Meta and we open up your roster table, I should also state, once Meta has generated the roster file, which is the file that we just opened, please never ever touch it again outside of Meta. Because for some reason, some of you are taking the file from the cake file and replacing it. That is just going to break the whole thing. It's not going to work. So never touch Meta outside. Never touch the roster file outside of Meta. Okay. So to get the wrestler ID, when you open the roster file, the number on the side here is the wrestler ID. So I'm using Brian, and if I already say I have, so it's 469. It's 469 here. Also to note, I did fix the commentary IDs, which are these. These can be found on the Pro Wrestling Mods wiki. So I'm gonna use this guy. So 615. So my character's looking good. I like how it is. It's all been correctly formatted. I'm gonna export this. I should put this. We'll just do it in here. Right. Successfully exported. Okay, once that's done, Meta has generated all the appropriate information. So we can hit close. So making sure the game is closed first, we're gonna right click on the wrestler ID slot that we just targeted. Import. You are about to import your data. Are you sure? Yes. Does it include attire information? Yes. Is this a custom slot? Which this means the ones that we've added to the game, not the unused or the default roster. And it's injected. And now we want to do the character asset map. So the crashing when you hit play is this file. So you have a slot and a wrestler ID. Now, they're sort of independent from each other. However, so if you go to exhibition and the moment you hit play to go into the match, the game asks this file what model to load. So that means the base model, the textures, the attire model, and their textures. And how does it look for it? Well, you see the numbers on the left side. These are the wrestler IDs. And if you see double zeros, that is the default attire. If you see 10 at the end, that's alternate attire 1. 20 on alternate attire 2, and so forth. So we're just going to import our file that we just generated, if I can find it, because I'm useless. So there it is. Boom. Injected. And as you can see, it's 46900, which is this, 469. And we're using all the default information. These hashes might look a bit weird. It's completely fine. Meta has generated the hashes required by the game. So that's done. Close this. Then we need to do the render. Which was mods, rosters, face textures. Again, the numbers, they are the wrestler ID, which are these on the right side. We're going to just import them from our mods. Import it correctly. As you can see, it's put them all in. The reason that we've done 10 is just in case in the future you want to add an attire to your character. The renders are already there. You just need to put in the file path here and Meta will generate them as soon as you hit save. So that's closed. Now, this is where you have to bake. So once you're on the menu, my menu looks a bit different to yours because I'm using a modded version. Go back to Meta, select your slot that you just imported to, click Prime Memory. What this is going to do is going to search in the game's memory for every possibility of the profile region. So now if we click the drop down, you'll see it's found exhibition and my universe. For time saving measures, I implemented an all feature just so it does it in both. If you don't see exhibition, like I said in the beginning of the video, it means you've installed the roster file wrong. Right, so click inject memory. We've got its profile information here, and it's injected. So now if we go over to that character, there he is. It's all working good. Now, once you've imported what we just did then, you want to do a quick save, force a save on the game. So I'm just gonna get this idiot. Save all settings, save it to my roster, my universe as well. And now if we go to game, I should say one thing. If you're having the issue of you go into the game and there's no entrance or victory motion, what you need to do is go to entrance. Just select an idiot, copy to superstar, find your guy, just overwrite it. Now it'll let you edit. Same for victory. Notice there's no crash. It's because you've done the character mapping correctly. And there's the mod. I would just skip ahead. So if you've done all your character stats correctly, he won't be sluggish, he'll be normal. And you can enjoy your character. So if you're a modder, please pay attention to your mods. It requires a little bit more of your attention, more focus to get the naming conventions right. And making sure you've included the appropriate files. But yeah, that should cover most of it. Thanks.